What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man. Today is the day. Lomachenko versus Anthony Crowler. Gonna talk about the lightweight division, one of the most prestigious weight classes in boxing, and Lomachenko going forward after he whoops up on Crowler. We're gonna talk about Teofimo Lopez. We're gonna talk about Gervonta Tank Davis. Even though he's at 130, Lomachenko's acting like he really wants that fight. Bob Arum is talking about it. Leonard Ellerby's talking about it. So we're gonna chop it up. We're gonna talk about it. All right. Now, before I do that though, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And after you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and that way you'll be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on the daily. Also, our live streams, which we do every morning, Monday through Friday. Also, we do a special one on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern, called OG Boxing Talk, where we chop it up about boxing history, the fights that took place the night before. We'll be talking clearly, obviously, about Clarissa Shields and Christina Hamer, as well as Peter Quillen and Peter Quillen's fight against Truax, and Lomachenko's fight against Anthony Crowler. We'll be doing all that on Sunday morning, so check us out then. And also check out the Patreon, got a new upload on there today. Now, Lomachenko, the top lightweight in the world, the WB, I think what is he, the WBO and the WBA lightweight champion of the world, fighting Crowler, Anthony Crowler out of the UK. He is obviously more than likely going to whoop up on Crowler. So the question is, what's next for him? Bob Arum said, and it's funny, man, because Lomachenko was talking about Tank Davis, man. You know, we've been going back and forth on this Tank Davis, Lomachenko, who, is Tank ducking Lomachenko, all of that stuff for about a year now, right? And Lomachenko said he'd be willing to move back down to 130 pounds to fight Tank. Leonard Ellerby saying that, Tank isn't really Lomachenko isn't in their plans. They've got other plans for Tank Davis, and all of that. Now you got Bob Arum saying that the fight won't happen because there's not enough money in the Lomachenko versus Tank fight. That's not a pay-per-view fight. So you got two promoters saying that they're not interested in the fight. The last I checked, Bob Arum be jumping around all over the place. So, what he says one day might change to the next day, but he will definitely be using the name of Gervonta Davis in the promotion of the Lomachenko fight. But for me, it sounds like he doesn't think that there's enough money in the Gervonta Davis fight. And Leonard Ellerby saying that that's not in their plans. Lomachenko wants Gervonta Davis. Teofimo Lopez wants Lomachenko. And Bob Arum yesterday said that he would see in an interview that he did in the press conference, in one of the press conferences, or an interview after the press conference or after the weigh-in, said that he thought that after Lomachenko was able to unify, so he talked about him fighting after Crowler, him fighting Richard Comey, and unifying, and then wrapping it up with a fight against another guy from the UK, Luke Campbell, because he said hopefully Luke Campbell will have the BC belt. So that would mean it would be Crowler. Bob Arum is hoping that the WBC champion would be what's his name? I'm sorry, man, forgive me, Luke Campbell. Now, it's interesting because I think Teofimo Lopez is actually ranked in the WBC. So Teofimo Lopez is ranked in the WBC. Shakur Stevenson is ranked pretty highly in the WBC. I don't see Robert Easter, though. I think Robert Easter should probably try to go get ranked in the WBC, but that's something else. But then after that, after Lomachenko unifies, then he sees a fight next year, late next year, 2020, against Teofimo Lopez. So it seems as if Bob Arum is more focused on a fight between Vasyl Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. Now, where I'm at with it is I think that is the more realistic fight to be made is Teofimo Lopez. And Teofimo Lopez in the second half of 2020. I think that is realistically what's going to happen. And I think that is, and I don't mind that at all, really. And let me tell you why I say that. As much as people talk about Tank Davis fighting Vasyl Lomachenko, Tank is 130. Tank is at 130 pounds. He's at 130 pounds. And there are other guys, there are good fights for Tank at 130 pounds. Now, there's a rumor about, well, that's not even a rumor. I guess it's a rumor. It was a reported rumor by Boxing Scene that Tank might be fighting Yuriorkis Gamboa next. Now, if that's Yuriorkis Gamboa at 100, and I don't think Yuriorkis Gamboa can get down to 130 pounds. I mean, I would be really surprised if that was 130 pounds. That might be a catch weight fight or something like that, but is he willing to give up his belt to move up to a, well, you know how it is these days. Shoot, Mikey Garcia's hopping around weight classes like there's no tomorrow. So I guess Tank could keep his belt for a year and a half and never fight at 130 pounds, but just fight, catch weight fights with with guys with names and keep his belt. But what I'd like to see him do is fight Miguel Berchelt, fight Ito. I think Ito is not the IBF champion. I think he's the WBO champion. Is it Ito the WBO champion? But Berchelt, Tevin Farmer, and Ito, and unify at 130 pounds. That's what I think. That's what I would like to see Tank do. Now, if those two things can happen, if you have Tank unifying at 130 pounds, and you have Lomachenko unify at 135 pounds, then I think that is what makes a fight something that's, that is a really, really big fight between Tank and Lomachenko. But I'm going to tell you, and then Teofimo Lopez. Now, the risk for that fight happening is that he runs into Teofimo Lopez. And at that point in time, I think Teofimo Lopez is going to be a lot of problem for Lomachenko. That is not a shoe-in win against Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is very fast. He's very confident. He's got, he's big. He's big. He's not long for the 135-pound weight division. He more than likely is going to be up at 140 pounds by, early 2021 at the latest, man. What is this? This is April now, so we've got 8 more months left in this year, so 20 months. Yeah, around that time, man, when he's 23 or 24 years old, he's going to be up there at 140 pounds. I want to see Lomachenko saying that he really is a 130-pounder. That, 100, he even came in, what did he come in at, 134 pounds, something like that for the weigh-in. At the weigh-in for the $1 million Kerala fight. So there might be some truth to that. But anyway, what I'd like to see, I would definitely like to see that path happen. And I think that path is very realistic. Lomachenko unify the belts at 135 pounds. Fight the up-and-coming Teofimo Lopez. If he wins, if he beats Lopez, that's cool. Lopez can recover from that, move to 140. If he beats Lopez, they can have a unification fight. They can have a unification fight for all of the belts. I mean, between the guy that unified at 130 and the guy that unified at 135 pounds. And for Mayweather and Rich Ellerby, I don't think that's something they could pass up on, man. I don't know what Tank is going to do as far as they want to make Tank. Now, I'm not big. I don't understand their moves at all, honestly, at all. The way that they're moving Tank. I don't understand it, man. They're acting like he's already Mayweather, and I don't think that that's the case. You know, he's become very inactive, you know, fighting one time a year when you're 22 years old, when you're 22, 23 years old. Or, I mean, he might be 24 years old now, man. That's just, they've really hit the brakes on his activity. But regardless, I think that that's the fight that really does make the star out of Gervonta Davis. If that fight is happening in the later portion of 2019 or 2020, man, he's going to beat Lomachenko because Lomachenko is going to be way too long in the tooth. But anyway, those are my thoughts on those three of those guys who I think are the biggest players at 130 and 135 pounds. But we'll see how it plays out. And with that, I'm out.